Welcome to RCA Exotics, guys. This week we're talking about MBD, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, metabolic bone disease. So metabolic bone disease is basically, well, there's several causes for it, but the main, most common cause are improper lighting and improper diet. So we have here AJ, and he's actually a survivor of MBD. When he was little, he was in a pet shop and they had no proper lighting on him, probably not feeding him the proper diet either, and he was pretty much skin and bone. He was starting to get some bone defects, and we managed to get the pet shop to give him to us, and he has been nursed back to health, so he's perfectly healthy nowadays, though he is very small. Like, AJ is like 4 years old, and that's as big as he is. You know, he's not going to continue to grow. That's as big as he's going to get. So he's stunted because of the MBD that he had. So he's a lovely bearded dragon, but, you know, he's only a mini bearded dragon because of this. And behind me here, I'm just going to pop AJ in here. Sorry about the shaking of the camera, because I'm just popping him in the tub that this camera is sitting on. So behind me here, if I can get her out, we have a chameleon who has metabolic bone disease as well. And if I can get her out, she's not in the best health. So you guys can probably see her there. So this girl has metabolic bone disease. Now, because she was an adult when she got it, she basically has affected her motor functions rather than giving her any defects. But when I got her like a week or two ago, she couldn't even hold on to my fingers. As you saw there from the enclosure, I picked her up from the bottom of the enclosure. Chameleons are arboreal, they like to climb. So to find your chameleon on the floor of the enclosure is not exactly the best thing. But basically at the moment she doesn't have the motor functions to be able to climb around because of metabolic bone disease, because the pet shop that sold this girl sold it to somebody with no correct lights. The girl, now she meant very well, and as soon as she realised she didn't know what to do, she tried to rehome this girl. So this is a female chameleon, and particularly with female chameleons, UV and calcium and supplements are all very, very, very important, because female chameleons will lay eggs every year, and the nutrients they need to make those eggs have to come from somewhere. So in the case of this girl, she was producing eggs with no UV light to metabolize any more nutrients into her body. So she's been very run down. AJ's shaking the box over there. So apologies for the shaky camera. I may just pause this and get AJ out of there so he's not shaking the camera on you guys. So AJ wanted to come back into the video, so I put the chameleon back away and we have AJ out again. Alright, so basically, as I said, your reptile is very important for UV lights. Otherwise it can cause metabolic bone disease, because without UV lights they cannot metabolize their calcium and vitamins. Now, not all reptiles need UV lights, like the chameleon over there, toe beans. She does not need UV lights, but that does not mean they don't still need supplements. So all of her food gets dusted with calcium and vitamins. So when she's eating her bugs, she's getting a light dusting of that into her diet. But with certain reptiles like bearded dragons and chameleons behind me, UV is insanely important because they just cannot metabolize their food without it. What are you doing, AJ? He's been very active today. But basically, depending on where your reptile is from, it's very easy to check online. Depending on where your reptile is from, they need different lights. They either need a 5% or a 10% UV light. Generally, if it's from Australia or hotter climates, it's generally the 10%, and if it's more jungle climates, it's generally the 5%. But do your research beforehand. Every reptile is different, and again, there's different types of UV lights. Like behind me here in the chameleon enclosure, up here we have, that is a basking and UVA and UVB bulb all in one, and it's called Solar Glow, if I remember correctly, and very good lights. Highly recommend them because you get your basking spot and your UV all in one. which cuts down on one extra unit you need to run, because UV lights normally need a unit to run them. But I will include some pics from Google just so you can see how bad metabolic bone disease can get. And it's something to be very concerned about. If you are going to get a reptile, always make sure to do your research and make sure you're giving your reptile the correct lighting and vitamins. And just because I work with tarantulas and other stuff here, I'm going to talk about them and the cases of vitamins with them. They do not need them. If you are dusting your tarantulas, crickets with calcium, there is the potential for impaction, constipation. Now it hasn't been proven or anything, but the current scientific thesis is that extra calcium in a tarantula's diet can lead to impactions and constipation, so you are better off avoiding it. This is why a lot of people don't like to feed off like pinkies and stuff like that to their tarantulas, because they're very high in calcium. But anyway, so I hope you guys got a little bit of information about metabolic bone disease from me here. And if anyone has any questions, message me down below, and hopefully this chameleon will manage to survive. She's made a slight improvement since coming here and be putting the correct lights on her, so hopefully she will continue to improve. There's no 100% with metabolic bone disease of survival, so at the moment it's about 50-50 she'll make it. But AJ made it, so fingers crossed that the chameleon will too. And that chameleon's name, by the way, is Kiwi, so hopefully we'll get to see Kiwi again in the future. So anyway, bye from RC Exotics and me and AJ this week. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. I upload every Sunday. So see you guys next week. Bye!